Mr. Promise, we'll come back to you. Alhaji Tijani Ahmed. The Arewa Consultative Forum is taking a very hard stance on this. It has declared this event, this gore event, as totally unacceptable. But from your perspective now, would you say the federal government is tackling this problem of insecurity effectively?
Well, federal government would like to think that its citizens appreciate their efforts. But we, the citizens, do know who is doing what. The funny thing about Nigerians is that Nigerians are very subservient people. They are very persevering, and they are very patient. And because of that, you wouldn't be surprised to find out that Nigerians today, like always, would sit back and just watch what the federal government is up to. Because no matter what it is, the people who are at the top of affairs in this country today, as always, are from the same communities, our fathers, our brothers and sisters.
Now, I'll come in here. Now, there have been lots of call on intelligence gathering. Do you think this intelligence formation in Nigeria has any solution in sight? Promise Adewusi.
Well, from the manifestation and the enormity of these attacks, it's obvious that there is a gap. And I think that the earlier we get to grapple with this, the better for the country. Honestly, I should think that Nigerian security apparatus should begin to think of a bottom-up security mechanism where traditional rulers and local community people are empowered and given responsibility.
Now, let's quickly look at security budget now compared to leading powerful nations of the world like the United States, China, and Russia. For 2011, just the defense budget of U.S. is $928 billion. Compared to Nigeria's budget, that's not comparable. Do you think we are looking at security issues holistically in Nigeria compared to when we think of the level in which the challenge of Nigeria's security has got into, talking about the sophisticated weaponry?
I think we are, particularly when you consider and admit that all the levels of government have what they call security vote. What you're probably looking at is the national security vote. But even local government chairmen had security vote. But to what effect are these security votes deployed? That is the issue that we should be concerned about. United States is a nation that is permanently at war, in quotes, because for Nigeria, this is a new phenomenon. And we ought to have seen it coming, and we ought to have taken pragmatic steps to be able to contain it. So I don't think it's in the quantum of money being deployed, but in what areas are those monies? Yeah,
the Arewa Consultative Forum has been having several meetings. Can you let us into your line of action concerning this insurgency in the north?
The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, I would like to add, because when you say the Arewa Consultative Forum, that is an elders organization which is based in Kaduna. We are Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. We have our aims and objectives and everything, and we know where we're going. It's not even always that we are at par with the Arewa Consultative Forum. So, back to your question now. We've been concerned about what the North position been for quite a long time. There is so many things we have researched upon, we have looked upon, and we have made decisive decisions already on ground that we are going to take steps. The very important fact that we have to take note about Arewa Youth is that we are not militant per se. We depend on consultations until we reach the bottom of issues. So we have gotten links with our brother, sister organizations in the north and all over the country. We have the coalition of the ethnic nationalities, for example, and we have all other organizations which you are conversant with. We are working because the federal government does not consider our efforts to be of any value.
Okay.
So we do not make it open.
Would have to hold it here.
Yes,
for some political economies. Now we'll look at this. Over the years, oil has been the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, and in our present world, Nigeria has marked a resounding dependence on oil to drive its economy. In federal government medium-term expenditure framework, the national budget was based with an oil benchmark revealed to be $70 per barrel and a planned removal of fuel subsidy as the main plot of Nigeria's economic reform. While proceeds from the oil subsidy would be used to further safety nets, which was described as essential infrastructural needs. But the planned removal of the oil subsidy has not gone down well in many quarters, and it's been widely condemned as a hallmark of cluelessness of a reform agenda, throwing up questions on NNPC's debt profile and a recall on previous excess crude accounts. I'll take that again. A recall of the excess crude oil account, as its 1.08 trillion naira has been earmarked, which according to the federal government had only served the interest of the oil importers who divert the oil traffic to other neighboring countries selling at actual price. Recently, Mr. President have said those against fuel subsidy are those interested in toppling his government. Joining us as we test the topic as our next talking point, we have Mr. Oluwemimo Ogunde, the Attorney General and Honorable Commissioner, permit me, of Justice in Ogun State. You're welcome on Politics Today.
Thank you very much.
So, and still joining us in this discussion, we still have Comrade Promise Adewuse, the Deputy President of the Nigerian Labour Congress. So now we start by looking at the international forces in determining this fuel subsidy. Now, it's quite amazing that the West were quick to throw their weight behind this planned removal of fuel subsidy. Is the federal government acting a script?
Well, I do not think that any responsible government would want to impoverish its people. And so I would take it with the presumption that the federal government is not acting a script. I think that's the way I can look at it as a patriotic Nigerian. What I want to say is that it is important for us to always simplify the presentation of a matter that's important for every Nigerian. I do not think the trader on the street is interested in the techniques or the procedures of oil subsidy.
Yeah.
What he wants to know is that I used to buy a liter of petrol at this price, and from this time I'm going to be buying it at a higher price.
When we add the consideration of the fact that the Minister of Finance and the coordinating Minister of the Economy has a strong ties with the IMF, considering her pedigree as a top-ranking staff of the IMF, would you want to rule out the fact that there is an agenda behind, there is a Western agenda behind this planned removal of fuel subsidy?
Well, we've had this before in the form of the structural adjustment program, which actually affected our economy. And the basis has always been that the Nigerian naira is overvalued. That if our country virtually produces nothing and we now want to have a naira that's internationally recognized, certainly the Western countries wouldn't want that, because we always have to be importing everything from them.
Yeah,
it is in their interest to ensure that we keep on having a naira that's not too strong.